Today I'm participating in the hashtag Team Tiny case, the fellow creator. And you will just need to click on the Team Tiny case hashtag in order to find everyone in the hop. Today I am casing Creative Time with Me, who is Mary Ellen Driggs, and that is a picture of her card that she made using the Wet Stencil Technique. I will also have her video listed in the description box below. So for my cards, I'm going to do a fall card and a Halloween card. And I started off with the backgrounds. Today I am using Simon Hurley ink. And I have to say, I was very impressed with his ink pads. They blend beautifully. So I just picked a few colors that I thought would go with my images. And I will also have those in the description box below. But for my grassy area, I ended up using Minty Fresh, Later Gator, and I brought in a little bit of Tropical Tango because I wanted the green to be a little bit darker on the bottom. So then I have that little post-it note up in the corner there, and I wanted that to be my moon, so I did put a little bit over the moon ink, which has the perfect name, just to give it a little bit of a glow. And then I am going to make sort of like that time in between where it's dark and light, just in the early evening. So for that I used Triple Berry. And then I pulled in some Clear Skies and Remember Me. And I just went back and forth until I was happy with the blend. I did go over that area where the Triple Berry and the Clear Skies meet so I can get a little purple in there. I ended up liking that color, I think, a little bit better than the pinky. So I just went ahead and kept going with my blending until I was happy with it. His inks layer very nicely. This was actually my first time playing with them. I bought his inks more for my kids to play with. I do like his stamp sets, and I think they can, not only you can play with them, but I think kids can have a lot of fun playing with his sets too. So my son was off to the side there and he was making his own projects, so that is why we had those pulled out. So I thought, okay, well, I am going to test those out. I did use Bristol Smooth paper, and I love that paper. Everything blends awesome on it. So I did want my card to be a little bit darker, so I ended up pulling out my black soot, and I used my Pink and Main blender for that. And then again, I just went back and forth until I was happy with everything blended. So for this technique, she had used a stencil and just sprayed water through it to get the images. So his inks are water reactive, so they're going to work perfectly there. And I just kept bringing in my images just to make sure that everything was lined up the way it should be. So those images are actually digital stamps, and they are by Sweet November, and I will link to her down in the description. And here I'm just using, instead of using water, I wanted to give my image a little bit of sparkle, glimmer. So I have a bottle of Tattered Angels spray. I've had that for a long time. I don't even know if they make it anymore. If I find it, I'll link it below. But it worked perfectly, just like water would. And that way I have a little bit of sparkle to my project. So this is going to be the second card. And for this one, I pulled out my Distress inks. And I wanted there to be sort of like a slight moon in the center. And then I was going to build out from there. So I used Wild Honey in the middle. Then I used Wilted Violet and Faded Jeans. And then I also pulled in some black soot on this one as well. And same technique. I just went around and went back and forth with all the colors until I was happy with how it came out. Now on this card, it wasn't a full scene, so I wanted it just to be the sky. And I first thought I was going to use those little ghosts, which was another set by Sweet November. Ended up using a stamp called Hello Witch by the Greeting Farm. I had that on my desk because I pulled out some images from my notebook that I wanted to use this fall on my cards. So I just fell in love how she looked on the card. So I will have to use the little ghosts another time. So while I'm finishing blending on this, I just want to take a few minutes and let you know that I looked at Mary Ellen Driggs, her blog and Instagram. I did a little bit of stalking just to find out some more information about her. And again, her accounts are under Creative Time with Me. And I learned that she, as a child, looked forward to art camp every summer, enjoyed art and crafting, and then she did go to college and receive a degree in fashion merchandising. And I found pictures of her cute little doggy Roxy on her Instagram. So if you have not checked her out, I would recommend you do so. I do have her link to the one video that I copied below, and then I'm sure you can find her other social media sites from there. So I'm just finishing up now. I'm going to clean my area since I always get my fingers in the ink. I'm so happy with how that turned out for the card. And for this one, I'm using a Wet Stencil, and I'm going to use the same spray on this one. And I'm just using my purple tape there so it holds it in place. I ended up as well putting a little bit of that tape on the back of my card just so it wouldn't move around. Since I didn't have a lot of that stencil to hold on to off of the card. My cards, by the way, for this were a little bit larger because my images were larger. So they were 5.5 by 5.5 cards. And here I had to pull out a few sentiments from some other stamp sets. So this one says Trick or Treat, and it's from a Halloween set by Love from Lizzie. And I really like the font on that. And I just used my VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink, and I stamped that out 3 times just to make sure I got a really dark impression on there since my background was pretty dark. So I think I will, in a minute here, I will show you that stamp set. And I also want to thank you for joining us for our Team Tiny monthly videos. We always like to support each other and help each other have our channels grow. But since we are under 1,000 subscribers, you will not have commercials. So it's kind of nice just to be able to click through and see everyone's creations. And of course, my little kitty there will be no surprise that he had his little paw up there. So for my second card, I used a sentiment from LDRS Creative, and it says Autumn Winds Are Blowing. I thought that was kind of perfect for this little scene here. I really love how those stars came out and the moon. It looks so pretty, and I love those Sweet November stamps. I'll have her link below too if you want to check those out. So thank you for joining me. I hope to see you again soon. Bye.